I'm not saying it's cute. I'm just saying it's funny.
It's like, I'm not mad. It's just funny.
I'm not mad. I'm just laughing so hard because it's so funny. It's just like the funniest thing about. No. I'm fine. Are you fine? I'm fine. Like I'm not even gonna bring it up for like another 2 whole months, and then it's gonna be so funny. Don't worry. It's gonna be hysterical for both of us. Christine really likes when I do my bitchy girlfriend
oh my God.
comment.
Em's like...
I was in a sorority, guys, so like I'm all about
Em's proudest moment.
Every time I do it, Christine's like, no one can...
It destroys me inside. It's the funniest fucking thing.
It's just funny.
It's just
funny.
It's just funny, that's all.
It's not... I'm just going to think about it later, that's all. And I'm going to laugh real hard, too, because it's going to be so funny.
Because it's just so funny.
Anyway, guys, hello.
Anyway. Welcome to And That's Why We Drink, the husky ramblings of 2 crazy people.
The husky ramblings. And sometimes like the highest pitched girl voice too. But that's just what makes it funny.
Who knows what you're gonna get? It's a mixed bag.
It's always a potluck of emotions and voices over here.
None of it is really that enjoyable. So good luck.
Oh, wow.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm still on the edge of my seat. You said Blaze listened to this week's episode.
Oh, yeah. Blaze listened to this week's episode. So props to you, Blaze, if you're still here. I don't know if you gave up after that one. But
he heard the It's Funny thing and he's out.
Oh, you're right. He pieced out. But he said he listened to the part where my dad guest spoke. Mm-hmm. And I just got a text saying, I would not get kicked out of a waltz class. And I was like, sorry.
Like so, you just... I like how that's the takeaway.
That's the one thing that he was not happy about. And so I think he and my dad are now on bad terms. So we'll see.
Oh, that's good. Only 87 days before the wedding.
87 days, kill me now. Okay, how are you? What's up?
I'm fine. I am fine.
Are you fine? Or are you? It's fine.
No, I'm honestly, I'm seriously just fine. Like it's fine. I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm not saying I'm bad. I'm just fine. So just think about that. I'm okay.
Can somebody just take that and make it my new ringtone, please? Thank you.
Oh, speaking of ringtones, I got an iPhone X this week.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'm feeling bad and bougie.
Do you have that crazy frog ringtone?
No, I have the theme song to Back to the Future, and I have the theme song to The Avengers. So
it used to scare the crap out of me when it would go, "You've got mail," and I was like, "There's a man in my house."
Yeah, I used to have the old AOL email.
It was pretty
voice
great.
As my text tone, so it'd say, "You've got mail."
Anytime Linda called, it would be like, "Mom, mommy, mom," from Family Guy, and it drove me bonkers.
I mean, me too. That's why it would force me to answer it.
Linda would call like 4 times in a row, and it would just go, "Mom, mommy, mom." Sorry, Linda. Remember the crazy frog ringtone? Was that just a thing in Germany?
No, I remember the crazy frog thing, yeah.
Wow, that was fucking annoying as shit, man.
Oh, 1,000%.
That was just killer awful.
Oh, God,
like don't do it, though.
The gummy. It's called the gummy song.
The gummy. Oh, God.
Something like that.
I don't miss this at all. All right, sorry. Take me back to 2018. I've got some fun news.
Okay.
Do you remember my episode... Or my episode. Do you remember my podcast? It's called...
Wow. Yeah, I remember guest starring at all 70 fucking thousand episodes. Yeah.
Do you remember the story I did on Ed Gein?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember how at the end of it, I mentioned that there was a musical called Ed Gein the Musical.
Is it coming out officially?
No, but you remember it, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So the screenwriter / lead / executive producer of Ed Gein the Musical reached out to us.
Shut the fuck up.
On Facebook. His name is Dan Davies. He lives in Wisconsin. I basically was like, oh, we'd love to. This is what I wrote. If you ever do an Ed Gein 2.0, let us know. We'd love to be there, right? Because I'm like, I want to be there. And he goes, thanks for getting back to me. It's actually a movie. And I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Oh, no.
It's a movie that was seen on PBS and Retro TV Network.
PBS?
I know. And Retro TV Network nationally about 6 to 7 years ago. I will see if I have a copy of the film and then send it to you.
Oh, my God.
Wait, hold on. I'm creating a stage play version of the film, and it will have its theatrical premiere later this year.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, people.
Are we guest starring?
Come on. We gotta go. I just want to go.
Let's do an Ed Gein chorus line.
Oh my God. So he was like the star of it too. And then, of course, like a day later, I get a message from an email from Jordan who's like, oh, so my friend actually wrote and starred in Ed Gein the musical. I heard you mention it. I'm like, oh yeah, he and I are talking on Facebook. And she's like, damn it.
And apparently it's a movie.
Yeah, and also it's a movie. She basically was like, well, that little stinker, I thought I could surprise him with good news, but he already found you. I was like, yeah. So I'm very excited about that and very proud that he reached out. And then I went back and listened because I was like, I hope he didn't say anything like weird or rude.
Yeah.
I went back and listened, and it's like literally 10 minutes of us just going, how do we get to there? How do we do? I want to do that and see it. Like, it's just us going like, we need this so badly.
Okay, well, good. I guess I'm glad we, in our own verbal resume, really made ourselves look good.
Yeah, so I'm just very pumped about this, and I feel honored that he reached out to us. So that was hilarious. Anything else you got?
Yeah. If your name is Carolina and you were in the Pasadena Target
Oh, I saw your post on
this
Facebook.
weekend, thank you for stopping over and saying hi to me and Allison. It was the first time Allison had been recognized in public.
Oh, that's exciting.
So
how did she feel? Did it go to her head?
I wish it would. She was very calm, cool, and collected.
How do we become like that?
I don't know.
We just
Humble
freak out
beginnings
every time.
Every time I'm like, why are you so excited?
Humble beginnings.
I mean, no such thing.
Linda did not provide that.
It's just me freaking out that you even know who I am.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
After she walked away, I was like beaming for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh my God, someone knew who I was.
Especially, I forgot to mention this. I was in New York. Let's just talk about all the times people recognize us, Em. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I was in New York though, and I was like hungover after a wedding.
There it is.
I was. And Blaze and I were at a wedding in Connecticut, and Blaze had to like get a train to Grand Central in New York, which is like an hour and a half, then get another like hour-long car thing service to the airport. It was like such a nightmare of a day, and I was so car sick and so hungover. And I get to the airport, I'm finally sitting on my flight, and I see this message on Twitter that's like, Christine, I think I saw you at Grand Central eating lunch, and I was like, I didn't want to approach you, and I was
Aww.
like, I was like, one, oh, that's so sweet, and two, like, oh my God, I was such a mess. And Blaze had gone off to like do something, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and eat. So I was just fucking eating a giant lox bagel by myself. No bra, dirty hair. I probably looked like a fucking monster.
Well, the thing is, I make Allison watch America's Next Top Model, and we're watching it from season 1, and there's about 24 seasons, so buckle up, Allison.
Buckle up. Don't tell her. Just let her.
No, she knows. She knows what's happening.
Okay, good.
We're currently on season 5, and there's a whole exercise where like they have to learn how to look appropriate in public at all times.
Oh,
because tabloids can make you look like shit.
I for sure haven't learned that.
So yeah, well, that's what that made me think of. It's like, oh, you have no idea who's watching you or when, and you just happen to get noticed when you're the most hungover and braless in the world.
It's just crazy because it was Pride, and so I was like just surrounded by like throngs of people in like fun, colorful feathers and crazy outfits and like bras and or no shirt at all or like hot pants, and I'm just like in my leggings in the corner eating a bagel, and I'm like, this is the last place anyone would recognize me. And then I get a freaking tweet. So to whoever you are, you feel, honestly guys, if you do see us like by an off chance, please say hello.
We're always wildly impressed that you even know who we are, and we're so confused why you want to meet us, but also we're always so grateful.
I usually get nervous because I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like I just assume if someone's approaching me that I did something terrible.
Yeah, well, when this girl came up to me in Target, she was like, hi, and I was like, oh shit, like what did I
steal your shopping cart?
Yeah. And she was like, are you M from the podcast? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, and I know you're Allison.
Oh,
and
that's
Allison
really
was like,
sweet.
yeah, that's me.
That's so cute.
I know. It was a good. Well, also, she definitely caught me like mildly snogging with Allison at Target.
No wonder you are recognized.
And then she literally was like, I didn't want to bother you. I felt very uncomfortable. I was like, oh shit. Like she definitely caught me like,
you're a dumbass.
Cuddling up on Allison.
They need an America's Next Top Model about that.
I know, PDA. It wasn't. I was just hugging up on her.
All right, everyone gets it. You guys are just so precious. When that woman back in Columbus recognized us in the airport, she's like, "Yeah, I saw you," and I was like, "That looks like Chris." I was also hungover from a wedding. This seems to be a trend. Holy shit! I was like, she's like, "I thought it was you," and then I saw who I presume to be Blaze wearing an And That's Why We Drink shirt and just like going to the bathroom and you just like sitting down and staring.
And scarfing a bagel.
Yeah, basically that seems to be the trend. Also, one last thing, I want to thank Lindsay, who wrote this amazing article on the odysseyonline.com.
Oh, yeah.
So sweet. It was called 10 Reasons Why You Should Be Listening to the And That's Why We Drink podcast, and it made my day.
It made our days, and naturally true to form, Gio made #1 on the listicle.
#1 with the little photo of his birthday.
Oh, he's so sweet.
It's so sweet. And I posted it to the Gio's Trio group, which is Em, me, and Eva, and we all just like gushed over it. So thank you, Lindsay. That was really, really sweet and just made our whole day. So
I don't think anyone knew that about our group chat.
I know, but I feel like it needs to be said because I'm going to say it eventually anyway.
Our group chat between us and Eva is Gio's Trio.
One last thing before we go to not go anywhere, go to the stories. Before we go to the thing you actually want to hear.
Right.
We've been getting so much momentum on iTunes, which is just amazing. I swear every time I click, we get new reviews, which is really like boosting our visibility and stuff. So if you haven't and you are able to rate us on Apple Podcasts, that is a huge deal for us and helps us a lot. Write a review. Unless you really don't like us, then like maybe just be quiet.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's right,
Or lie through your teeth and say you love us. I
Just
mean, whatever you want.
lie to make us happy. That's all we want.
Lying is the key moral of this podcast.
White lies make everyone happy.
Well, drinking and then lying.
Lying and drinking, the podcast.
My mom always says, I forget it. She does this toast where it's like about like lying, cheating, and stealing. And it's like lie with the one you love, cheat a moment for yourself, and steal a kiss or some shit like that. And then there's drinking.
Jesus, and that's you in Target with Allison. Yeah, okay, I get it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so just living out my mom's toast that I've heard my entire life that I can't remember.
Mine's just like lie to me and tell me I'm so pretty. Cheat on my diet and what's the other thing?
And steal a couple
Steal
bucks.
office supplies from work because I need a new stapler. Okay.
I mean, you could. It's up for interpretation. Remember that time that we were driving together in the car and then you realized that I had not been open to the world of Spotify yet?
I stared at you for a long time while you were driving and probably made you uncomfortable. But like, what is wrong with you that you didn't use
No,
Spotify?
you changed me after that. I have Spotify.
Really?
Yeah, I love
good.
Spotify. I just remember the day that you were like, what do you mean?
How do you...
Do you buy music?
How
Where
does
are you
this
going?
function in your life? Yes. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad I opened up your eyes.
Well, fun fact about Spotify. Did you know that every single episode of our show is now on Spotify?
I did. Did you? No, because you weren't on it.
I just found out, guys. Every single episode of And That's Why We Drink is now on Spotify. The same app that has millions of songs also now has thousands of podcasts, including ours.
On Spotify, you can listen to all your favorite shows. You know.
Like ours.
You dudes, us. And discover new ones. Just not too many because, as you know, Em and I have very sensitive, jealous hearts.
Yes, we're Geminis.
To subscribe to our show, search for And That's Why We Drink, tap follow, and get every new episode delivered straight to you the day it is released.
Podcasts on Spotify. They're streaming right now and now and now.
But what about now?
Oh, yeah, right now too.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone knows this, but Blaze and I are getting married in a couple months.
We had no idea.
And Em, did you get an email today from Blaze?
I did. I got a email from, well, not really from Blaze. I got a email featuring Blaze from Black Tux.
That's right. He's using the Black Tux to rent his suits and tuxedos for the groomsmen and Em, the officiant. Officiant.
Referee, as your dad calls it.
My dad calls it a referee. He doesn't really understand what's
I
happening.
get to make the shots.
I think he thinks that since it's not in a church that like
you're an arena.
It's in a sporting event. So yeah, Blaze is using the Black Tux, and they have some amazing new selections. They have tons of fresh new complete looks and suit essentials for all of your upcoming spring events and weddings.
With the Black Tux free home try-on, you can see the fit and feel the quality of your suit months before your event. And after ordering, your suit will arrive 14 days before your event. And if anything is less than perfect, then they will send you a replacement right away.
And don't forget, returns are simple. You wear it, you turn heads, then you send it back 3 days after your event, and shipping is always free both ways.
I used Black Tux last month when I went to New York for a wedding, for my friend Ellen's wedding.
Nice.
And it was super simple. They sent everything to me in one nice box. It all like fit perfectly.
Yeah.
It did also match.
That's good. You
But
gotta have both.
No, it looked really good on me. It was actually the first time I ever wore a tux.
You look so handsome.
Thank you, Black Tux, for being that milestone for me.
Sorry you're not wearing a tux at my wedding, but you're wearing a suit. It's a blue. We're doing the blue
I hear you.
maroon combo.
But anyway, Black Tux is very near and dear to my heart, and shipping is super easy. You put it right back in the box, and the return label's already on the box for you. You just send it right back.
Amazing. So if you guys want to get $20 off your purchase, just visit theblacktux.com/drink. That's theblacktux.com/drink for $20 off your purchase. The Black Tux, premium rental suits and tuxedos delivered.
Also, real quick, before we head into our stories, guys, I just wanted to say, make sure you check out our Facebook Live event coming out at the end of the month. I think it's the 22nd. Is that true?
Yes. It's actually this upcoming weekend. Oh, wait. It's the day after this. It's the day this it comes out.
It's a Sunday?
Yeah, it's this Sunday.
Jesus. Once again, we don't know what we're doing on this show. Okay, so it's just going to be a surprise.
me.
If you guys are watching our Facebook Live later today, you are going to see that it is so hot that we have decided we are going to do this month's Facebook Live in Christine's pool.
Inside a pool.
On my brand new waterproof iPhone X.
Yes, that's correct. And
so sorry if the sound is horrible, but also it's so
But also we are not sorry.
blindingly hot over here that we don't have room to care.
3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today.
Catch us in our skimpies.
Yep. Yum.
Oh yeah.
Also, Em has to talk about ghosts now. Oh, there's a cat. Holy shit.
The cat. Oh,
That scared the crap out of me. How did he get in here? God.
the cat just climbed right up. Hi, baby. Hi, handsome. It's a baby juniper.
Baby sweets. Also, last thing before we get to the ghost stories, we have a lot of live shows coming up, and they're on our tour page on our website, and that's whereyouDrink.com. Buy your tickets. Okay, bye. Now, Em, tell a story.
Do you have anything to say, Juniper?
Junie's here, too. Oh, he's
Wait, here
purring.
you go.
Oh, he's purring into the
You're
microphone.
stealing his limelight. Junie, keep talking. Okay.
Everyone's like, tell a fucking story.
It's like, I'm already done. Okay, so this story has intrigued me for a long, long time. Since middle school, one might say.
Really?
Or at least high school. Since I lived at home. This is a story that Deirdre told me on a whim one time.
Okay.
And I've always remembered it. I don't know if she even remembers it. But it is an urban legend. And it is the Green Children of Woolpit.
Oh my god, what? I've never heard of this.
Okay.
I just like to picture Deirdre being like, the green children.
Oh, she was like, have you ever heard of this? You should just look it up and just see what you think about that.
Oh my. Okay.
Hi, Juniper.
Junie.
Oh, man.
This is not your moment right now.
He's making it his moment. Hi, sweets.
Aww.
Oh, the kitty.
He loves me. Okay.
He's so good at giving kisses. Okay.
Goodbye.
So, the Green Children of Woolpit. So it's from the 12th. Oh, and he's back.
Oh, for God's sakes. All right, I'm sorry. Oh my god.
He's coming. Boop. Okay, so.
I don't know what you thought was going to happen.
I don't know.
I'm getting...
He really drove nails in that time.
I mean, you were literally pretending you were like a creature to be attacked for a minute there.
Went all the way. He broke skin in a lot of places just now.
Honey, okay? Go find your big brother, okay?
Oh, and now Gio's here! Baby Gio, wow, this is so special.
Oh, God, I sat down in the chair and there's just sweat on it. That's disgusting. Eva, do you miss us?
Okay, so. Okay, for comedic relief, you throw as much of that in there as you want, Eva.
No, God.
So, all right. So, the Green Children of Woolpit. This is from the 12th century during the reign of either King Stephen or King Henry II.
Okay.
What was that sound?
I don't know, actually.
I think it was a bat.
I think it was a car, like, skidding.
Oh.
Where is he?
He's right here. Oh, and he's sitting right next to me. That's
And
so
the air
nice.
conditioning. What a weird coincidence.
Hey.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
12th century.
12th century. So this is in a town called St. Mary's of the Wolf Pits. or also nicknamed lovingly as Woolpit.
Woolpit.
In Suffolk, England.
Okay.
One night.
I know the story.
Oh.
It just hit me. It's my favorite. I don't know.
Is it your favorite?
Yeah.
To not remember it.
No, but I didn't know. I thought, since Deirdre told me, I thought it was like a local urban legend or something. But now
no.
I know what you mean now.
I just had to say intercontinental and you lost your mind.
Is that what you said?
I said Suffolk, England.
Oh. Yeah,
Same
exactly.
difference.
I remember now. But and the 1700 thing, I don't know very well, but I know of it. Super cool. Sorry.
All right. Okay. Well, sorry now. Just
No,
act like you've never heard this before.
No, I don't know much about it. I just know of it.
Okay.
So I'm very excited.
So one night, field workers found 2 children in wolf pits. And these wolf pits were deep ditches that were excavated around the area to trap wolves that were living in the area at the time.
They were just like holes?
Yeah, they're like giant holes
Oh,
that basically
shit.
they would like just fall into.
they can't climb
then they
out.
were too tall to
Oh my God.
climb out. It was also the 12th century. So like they're like PETA wasn't around to tell them that wasn't.
They weren't?
I don't think so. Maybe like one person who thought it was kind of rude, but
Medieval PETA was one guy.
medieval PETA.
He was just one guy. He was like, this seems a little mean.
He's like, that's wrong. And everyone's like, okay, well,
let's not
do you want your mutton or not? So,
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the name. They named the village after the wolf pits, hence
Sure, makes sense.
Woolpit. So these holes were at least twice as tall as the children and a couple hundred square feet wide.
Oh, shit.
So when these 2 children fell into them or somehow got in there, that was why they couldn't get out. So
Yeah.
field workers ended up finding them in these wolf pits. The children, they were a boy and a girl, and they were found in the hole, and they were speaking a language nobody had ever heard, wearing clothes, quote, of a strange color made from unfamiliar materials,
Oh, my God.
and they had green skin. So they were brought to a knight named Sir Richard de Cane, and he gave them a home and food.
Nice.
Which is very nice.
Very
like,
kind.
if I saw someone that was green and did not speak a language I had ever heard of and was wearing clothes I'd never seen, I would not bring them into my house.
Yeah, and that's why you're not a knight.
Yeah. I'm not noble.
There's no Sir M around here.
And so the children, although they were offered food, refused to eat anything anyone tried to feed them. They would take no food, no matter how delicious or how much of it was available to them.
No mutton?
No mutton.
Wow.
Can you believe it? Maybe they were PETA.
Maybe they were early PETA supporters.
They were like, no, I don't do that. I eat organically based.
I eat vegan bean sprouts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, interesting that you bring that up because, well, not the vegan part.
Oh.
But so the one thing that they were willing to eat were beans.
Oh, see? I knew.
So maybe they were vegan. Who knows?
Well, it could be.
So as options got slimmer and slimmer, and they were like, what the hell do we give these kids? Which, by the way, that was not me. I was willing to eat everything under the sun when I was a child.
Sure. And still.
And still, to this day, I'm like, oh, I am a garbage disposal. Got it. Sir Richard's servants offered them raw beanstalks.
Ew.
And when handed the beanstalks, they clearly didn't know what to do. They knew that there were beans somewhere in there, but they were just eating the beanstalks raw because they didn't know how to get to the pods.
What?
When they were shown how to get the beans out, they got, like, I guess, very evidently excited.
Oh, boy.
And it was clear that this was a familiar food to them. And it was all that they ate for months. So the only thing they ate were raw beans.
How creepy.
And
Raw beans. That's so gross.
and nothing else. Sorry, heartburn.
Stop eating so many raw beans.
So the boy of the children, he refused to ever learn to eat anything else. And so he only ate the beans. He never developed the new language, nothing like that. He actually eventually died from malnutrition.
Oh, how sad.
The girl, however, welcomed new foods into her diet, and she slowly started learning English, and she lost her green skin.
Whoa.
And so when she learned to speak English, she started learning to speak it fluently, and she took her, she said she didn't have a name before, and she took the name of Agnes Barr.
I mean, that's the name I would take, too.
I mean, if it's available, you take it.
Oh, for sure.
And so she was baptized, which at the time meant that she was committed to a good moral standing in that society at that time. But she was known by neighbors to, quote, be rather reckless and wanton in her conduct.
Do you say wonton like the food?
Yeah, well, it's spelled like wonton.
Wonton. It's not spelled like the food.
Yeah, huh?
Wonton. Wonton.
How's the food spelled?
Wonton.
Wonton. You're right. Fuck. Whatever.
She was a wonton in
She
her
was a
behavior.
wonton. Wonton. I thought it was wonton.
It is wonton.
I thought it was wonton.
Yeah, I know you thought
And it is wonton.
I know you thought it was wonton.
Here's the thing. Even I knew that probably couldn't be right, so I went on like YouTube and went and typed it in and did pronunciation, and it sounded like wonton, and I was like, all right, well, I guess
think
that's
it's
how
probably
it
like
is.
wonton.
Maybe.
Like wonton.
But then I was like, nah, that's all right. It's wonton. Whatever. The girl that was a wonton is the title of
She
this
behaved
episode.
like a wonton, let's be real.
I mean,
Some
people liked her, some people didn't. You know what I mean? Come on.
That's exactly correct.
That's exactly what a wonton is.
That's what it all boils down to.
In that case, though, let's just be real. You're a writer at Nickelodeon. Why don't you have a wonton story going?
I mean, I do now.
A reckless Chinese food.
Eva, write that down.
Escape the kitchen.
All right, who works at Nickelodeon? You or me? Come on, relax.
I think it's about to be me when I pitch that.
I'm pitching a movie tomorrow, and I'm about to scrap my whole idea.
Let's talk about how we could segue into a wonton on a Segway.
Oh my god, on a segue. Wait, also, hold on, everybody, please pause, because a bunch of people were like, it's actually not from the French, it's from the Italian. And I was like, M thought it was a segue with a W, so don't bitch me out for saying it's
It's okay. Everyone's going to say
French.
something that wonton isn't Chinese, so we're going to get a whole new week of it.
Who said
sorry,
it was
Eva.
Chinese?
Well, a wonton is.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so
Listen, we don't know what we're talking about. I
let's
don't know why
let's
anyone...
get back to Agnes Barr
Can we just talk about Agnes?
and how
Everybody-
she's such a wonton.
Will you guys stop derailing this conversation, you guys? Please. God.
Honestly, your voices are so loud. I can't concentrate.
We're trying to educate you.
And Eva's just trying to fucking edit, and she clearly will not be able to do
She's
it.
having a hard time.
All right. Well, everyone can laugh at me for another word I apparently did not know, and just how badly the education system failed me.
Hold on. No, I wouldn't have said anything except that it was wonton, which just made me laugh so much because it's like wontons.
I was so excited to talk about it because I was like, oh yeah, wonton. Oh well.
I like the wonton on a segue though.
Let's just maybe someone can just start keeping a tally of the words that I don't know at 26.
Maybe let's not do that because I feel like that's
it'll just get sad. It'll
it's
just get
like
really sad.
a little bit.
And that's why we'll drink. So, Agnes. All right. Anyway, she was baptized, but apparently is also a wonton. So
Right. So she's Chinese too.
yeah, she actually became Chinese after the green skin went away.
Wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she married Richard Barr, who was a medieval judge and an ambassador who worked for Kings Henry II and Richard I.
Nice.
Although that fact has actually been disputed, saying that there's no way that she would have married Richard Barr because Richard Barr was also a former archdeacon, and he
Okay.
later retired as a canon, so he probably never
He
married.
was celibate or whatever.
That's what they said.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So why did she have the last name?
Well, they don't know for sure. All of this is like
Oh, and also it's like, was it 1700s or
the 1100s.
1100s? Okay, no wonder. Yeah.
There's my
sorry.
ride.
Please. Here, to the planet of the wonton children.
Okay, but that also did you see The Incredibles?
2?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Because speaking of wonton children, the short in front, you know how like Pixar always has a short?
Yeah.
It's literally a wonton
No
child.
way.
It's a dumpling child, but it's a child that's a dumpling, and then the mom ends up eating the fucking child.
Oh my god. Wait,
Which is-
what? Hold on.
That's what everyone sounded like in the theater,
Well,
by
no
the
wonder
way.
you thought this was a wonton child.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway,
I think Pixar is really disrupting our youth education.
I think Pixar is actually stealing our notes and then making movies 14 years in advance about them.
You know what, Pixar? We're gonna sue with our
With our $1.
lots of dollars.
Eva, write that down. Sue Pixar. All right. So she potentially married Richard Barr. So now she can speak fluent English. And when she finally was able to speak English well enough to communicate, she ended up telling her story of how the fuck she had green skin and all that.
Fuck.
She said that her and her brother came from a world under the ground called St. Martin's Land.
The fuck?
And we've got an audience.
Should we close the window?
No. It's
I know,
so
but-
hot. Just listen to all the ambient sounds
So pretty.
of Los Angeles.
Okay, we're back.
So Saint Martin, which was the name of the town. Saint Martin. Some people say Saint Martin, and other reports said Saint Martin's Land.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go with Saint Martin. It was apparently constantly under twilight. There was never a lot of sun, and it was never sunny outside. It was always twilight, so it was always really dark and shady.
Underground?
Yeah, under the ground, which would make sense because if it's under our ground, it's not getting to the sun. You know?
Do you think it was under the ground? Sorry, I'm so freaked out. Okay, go on.
So, apparently there's a whole town called St. Martin's Land or St. Martin where there's a whole community of people and everyone is green. And apparently there's another beautiful land that sits across their town. But the towns are divided by a very, very, very large river.
Okay.
They apparently, her and her brother decided to wander around and found themselves in a cave under the ground. And they ended up finding themselves on Earth's surface. They'd climbed through the cave up to Earth.
Oh, shit.
And then they got up there, and because they could see like a hole at the end of the tunnel and like light was like coming through and they'd never seen sun before.
Oh my God.
They were kind of walking towards it, but also it was blinding them because they'd never seen anything that bright before. And once they had hit Earth's surface, they got really scared of the light and tried to run away, but they got lost. And then they were found by the field workers.
And they like fell in a hole probably.
Or they like, I'm imagining, yeah, something like that. Either they fell in a hole or maybe the hole was like the entrance from the other end of the cave or something like that. And then they like, I don't know.
Wouldn't they go back in the cave?
There's multiple reports.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of things, but I'm on your page where like they got scared and ran and then fell into a hole.
Into a pit, right?
So apparently that's their story, but this whole thing, the whole Green Children of Woolpit, there's two original sources that the story came from. One was from a man named William of Newburgh. He wrote The History of English Affairs, which was a history of England from the late 1000s to the late 1100s.
That's its entire history.
So
a brief history.
So that's his, apparently he wrote about it in that. And then there's also another guy named Ralph of Coggeshall. And he had heard the story directly from Richard de Caen himself. The night that took them in.
Right. That's
so
cool.
Apparently Richard took them in, and then once the brother died and Agnes was still alive,
right.
Agnes became his servant for many years.
Oh. Do we know how early the boy died? Was it like pretty quickly? Because he wouldn't
Within
eat?
months.
Okay.
So William Newburgh, the one who wrote the Brief History of English,
right.
He was originally a skeptic about this story, but by the time he wrote his book, he had believed the story because, quote, of the weight of so many and such competent witnesses.
Oh, shit.
So he was changed, apparently. And interesting enough, there was no mention of the Green Children in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles, which was a popular work that dealt with English history up until the death of King Stephen. And it supposedly included many of the, quote, wonders popular at the time. So it should have talked about...
Oh, weird.
So, like, that's kind of one of the things disputing that this ever even happened, because...
That it would have been brought up.
It would have been in that book.
Sure.
Ralph of Coggeshall, one of the guys who first wrote about the Green Children, his story, because they both have kind of similar but different accounts of what happened. So Ralph, who seems to be more of the actual reliable person because he actually knew the night.
Right.
He says that the girl's point of view was that her and her brother were watching over their father's flock of animals when they heard sounds of bells coming from inside of a cave.
Oh, boy.
So they followed the sounds and walked through the dark until they found the other end of the cave. Their senses were so overwhelmed by the blinding light of the sun that they ended up walking all the way out to the cave, not really knowing where they were going, and they ended up in the wolf pit.
Oh, okay.
And they were scared and tried to go back into the cave, but they were so scared and running around that they had the dirt that they were kicking up from running around covered up the hole, so they got
were trying to
they couldn't figure out the entrance back into their
and they were probably
cave.
blinded by the sun and stuff. Right. Okay.
William, the guy who was changed by everyone else's opinion, he says that her account was that she said they were basically he had more description about the town because all of the witnesses he had talked to had all slowly given him more detail of what she had said.
Okay.
So his story is more like her account of the town. And so he says that she called the town St. Martin's Land, named after their patron saint. And the place had many churches, and a lot of the residents were Christians.
I love how it's just so like the same, but also they just are randomly green and speak a different language.
Yeah.
But also they have patron saints.
Yeah, patron
and Catholicism. Okay.
And apparently what happened was, like she had said in other accounts, that St. Martin's Land has never had any sunlight. It's only twilight, and there's a giant river that they can never cross. But after one night, her and her brother finally deciding that they're going to cross the river, they did cross the river, and they ended up walking through a dark forest instead of a cave.
Oh.
And they ended up finding themselves at Woolpit, and then couldn't find their way back through the right part of the forest to get home.
Oh, okay.
So those are two different stories, but basically it's her and her brother wandered off, and they couldn't find themselves.
Sure.
Also, in both accounts, they heard bells, and that's what they were just like transfixed by these bells, and they had to go find out where the sound was.
Oh, so I don't know if you know the answer to this or if you're going to talk about it, but like, do you think they ever were like, please take us home, like to our families? Or were they just like, this is our life now?
They tried, but they couldn't speak English. And then by the time they were able to speak English, they had already like
acclimated
to the town. And I think they were also so young, they like kind of forgot.
Kind of depressing.
Because there are stories that say that she tried to give her account, but as she got older, she couldn't remember much of the town.
Oh,
so it was
she was
patchy.
a little kid, yeah.
This is where all the theories come in, because the main question is like, why the fuck are you green?
I mean, I do want to know the theory. Yeah, I have very many questions.
So some think, there's a lot of theories, by the way, so I'm just going to run them off.
Sure.
Some thought that the children suffered from green sickness, which plagued unmarried Victorian women.
Yeah, me too. Fuck.
But then a lot of people disputed, first of all, that doesn't fucking make sense. And second of all, he's like the brother, who's not an unmarried Victorian woman, also had green skin. So
also, that's not a thing. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, apparently it is a thing, which I will explain later. Hang on. So another theory. This is also one of the more wild theories.
I'm pouring more wine. Why a more wild theory? Great, I'm ready. Can't wait.
So some thought that the children, and by some I mean this one guy named Robert Burton.
Just one guy. That's like the most. That's like Reddit. Like,
for the record, look at my bullets though. It says some thought, and then it said Robert Burton. And I was like, I mixed up my bullets.
Oh my god.
So Robert Burton wrote a book called The Anatomy of Melancholy, which, can I get a copy of that book? And can my therapist too?
That's our autobiography.
Apparently the children just fell from heaven. Just green children.
Sure, I'm not even going to go there.
So what it did, though, was it caused this stir that implied that they could have been from another world.
Aliens. Okay, so let's go back. I said let's not go there, but now I want to go there.
So in 1996, an astronomer named Duncan Lunan.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fake guy.
He said that the children, this was his theory, they accidentally teleported to Earth from another planet, most likely Venus or Mars.
Me too. What the fuck?
They may have originated from a planet that one side is always light and the other side is always dark, with a twilight zone in the middle.
And they lived in the middle.
They lived in the middle of this planet. The river that they mentioned in their story could have been, quote, a huge canal that encircled the entire planet for thermoregulatory purposes. This guy sounds bananas.
Duncan.
So he's got quite a specific view. He also, if that wasn't enough, claims that their accidental teleportation trip was basically they were trying to come to Earth in a, quote, Star Trek style transporter that malfunctioned.
So he's recent then.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm thinking he's from like 1200, and I'm like, how does he know about Star Trek?
No, this was from 1996.
Oh, so he's just an alien dude.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And then the green skin, he just shrugs off with a side effect from consuming the genetically modified alien plants. Duh. So
genetically, hold on.
Obviously, Duncan is a man of only wisdom.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. So far, Duncan's runner up.
Wisdom runs
on the
deep.
theories.
Yes.
To
be fair, if he said all this to me, I'd probably be like, fascinating.
I'd be like, tell me every fact you know.
We'd jump on board so fast.
I'd be like, and where am I? Duncan, where did I come from?
How do I get there and teleport myself?
So that's one theory, is that they're aliens in a very specific way.
Okay.
Another is that they're children that just fell from heaven. Another is that they are unmarried Victorian spinsters. And
That's my favorite theory.
another theory is that the green children, this one's the most realistic so far, that they were abandoned at a young age in the woods and raised by wolves. So they could have lived in caves away from the sunlight. So they had probably had a very poor diet, and they could have had chlorosis.
That's like eating plants. Chlorophyll, sort of.
I don't know.
Oh, it sounds like chlorophyll, like eating plants.
Yeah, but that's what it sounds. But I'm going to actually get to that later. I put it differently in my notes. But they could have had chlorosis from the poor diet, and also suggesting that they were raised by wolves. Some reports say that both children, whenever they would see food, they would howl at the moon, and then they would run on all fours for the rest of the night.
Em and me do that too. I don't know why I say Em and me. Em and I do that too. But
okay.
Am I allowed to ask a question about that though?
Yeah.
Because my thought is, why do they speak a different language? Like if they were raised by wolves, they wouldn't speak a language. Like they would just be like,
maybe they just like did a lot of grunting.
Or maybe they invented their own. You know how twins do, I guess. Maybe?
Yeah, maybe they had their own little like.
But is being raised by wolves really a thing, or is that like
because Mowgli did it? I know there's
because like Romulus and like it's like a.
Right. Well, no,
a myth.
Well, there has been. I know there was. There's a few stories of people who were actually raised by wolves.
Truly, really,
truly. There's one girl. I know you can find it on YouTube, but they interviewed her. They're like, "What was it like to be raised by wolves?"
Wow, that's wild. They don't eat her.
I guess not.
We're gonna get emails, but
I mean, we're gonna get emails.
Don't emails because I'm gonna Google it the second this episode's over. I'm gonna find out all about it.
The second we're gonna have all the information before you've even emailed us,
and then you're gonna email us, and I'm gonna be like, I Googled it. I know. But I will Google it. But that's fascinating.
Yeah. So
that's bonkers.
There's also a man, Harold T. Wilkins, and he wrote a book called Mysteries Solved and Unsolved.
Love him.
In the 50s. He said that the green children may have entered our world from a parallel dimension.
That seems reasonable, I think.
By accidentally passing through some form of a window that bridged the two worlds.
Okay. All right. I'm in. I'm down.
Others say that they came from an underground world that was linked to our above ground world by a labyrinth of interconnecting tunnels.
What?
Which inhabit a race of advanced humanoids.
But wouldn't we know that from like metal detectors?
I feel like all the metal in our brain.
I have a metal detector.
I know. I feel like at
I just
some
wanted
point,
to say that I have
for all of the people who like go like into swamp, like sewers and all that shit, like someone would have found a world,
or just someone like right.
Someone would have found a green person.
Don't we have like sonar detectors? We would have figured that shit out by now. I mean, they've looked for Atlantis and haven't found it. I don't think if they were literally under our feet.
This is Atlantis, actually.
Maybe it is Atlantis. Seriously, I'm
surprised that that's not one of the theories.
That's what I thought you were gonna say because that makes sense to me.
So here, those are all the like, sure theories,
Wacko
but there are two
theories.
main theories.
Like what do you call them? Academic theories or like more like
not really academic because the next word I'm going to say is fairy. But
okay.
But yeah, academic. I mean,
sure.
depending on the school of witchcraft and wizardry.
School of thought that you're in. Okay.
So in the 12th century, this was a time when pagan beliefs and stories were still like intertwined with Christian teachings.
Sure.
So there is a theory that they were fairies.
Oh dear.
Speaking purely on a story analysis, the color green often means that fairies are nearby. It also means nature, and in Celtic mythology, it means death.
Oh boy.
In Celtic folklore, they believe that the boundaries between the physical world and the fairy realms are there and exist always, but fairies often will not cross certain bodies of water.
Really?
Such as the giant river they were talking about. That they have natural boundaries that very often they wander away from. They also believe that fairies are very particular in the foods that they are offered.
Oh.
Green is also a regular color on fairy beings, so the skin would make sense with how the fairies could have like... I got this from one website about fairies, so I don't know... I don't want to like make fun of anyone who like believes in that stuff. Like, so I'm just reading straight off of this, but... It says, this is very in line with how fairies could have humanoid qualities yet look inhuman.
Okay.
Which makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does make sense.
I never thought of fairies as green, but apparently that's actually a common thing.
I guess Tinkerbell wore green.
She wore green.
But she wasn't green.
Well, also they said like how Robin Hood apparently lived in like a world with like some mythical creatures. He wore green. Peter Pan wore green.
Oh, interesting.
So like they said that like green.
And they were always in nature, like the forest and stuff.
Yeah, and they're always like flying or they have some sort of skill or something.
I mean, I know that mythology goes like way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently in more like Celtic folklore, it's like their skin can be green.
Interesting. Okay.
Especially if they're elves. Elves' skin is apparently green. I know I have the most basic knowledge of this, so please do not send in a million emails correcting me. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to look it up. But from what I gathered, elves are the most green skinned. So they thought maybe these kids are elves.
Okay.
So even the land that they described as St. Martin's Land apparently resembles what a lot of land, like the land of fairy, looks like.
Sure.
In traditional folklore. And in the story, they like beans, but apparently in Celtic tradition, beans is the food of the dead. So then there's also a story that maybe they are fairy ghosts.
Ooh, I like that theory.
And then there's another twist that maybe they're elvish ghosts.
Okay.
And then maybe they're fairy elvish ghosts. It could go in a million directions.
Or maybe they're alive ghosts that just like beans. Who knows?
Or maybe they're just green-skinned humans.
Who the fuck knows?
So Celtic people also believe that sunrise, sunset happen to be the two times where the fairy world and the human world overlap the best, like the witching hour basically at 3 a.m.
Okay.
It's so there's a chance since they showed up in the middle of the night that, you know, maybe the worlds overlapped and that's how they kind of like transported into this world by accident.
And got stuck or something.
And got stuck and couldn't get back and like the land had like solidified or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
Listen, I'm following. I'm into it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fairies apparently are intoxicated, which is a quote word.
Me too.
They are intoxicated. No. Intoxicated by bells and otherworldly music.
Oh, I see. Never mind.
Compelling them to join humans in the human world. So maybe they're
drawn to it. Oh
they
my
heard
God,
bells.
That's wild.
And then were desperate to cross the natural boundary of the river that they usually don't cross.
Especially because they were like young. Maybe they were
during the hour where our worlds would have overlapped.
That's interesting.
And then they just showed up and couldn't come back.
Holy shit.
And they spoke a different language and they wore clothes no one had ever seen.
That I forgot about the clothes. That's pretty weird. Because again, like wolf children, but then like where did they get these weird clothes that no one had ever seen?
So, I mean, that's a very realistic theory that they were fairies and that a lot of people think this might just be like an urban legend that started in Celtic folklore where they warned you about the green children.
Right. They like drew from the folklore. Yeah, that makes sense.
So if this were to be a reality and something that really, really, really happened, then people go with the next theory I'm going to tell you. And that's the researcher Paul Harris.
Okay.
So Paul Harris says that the children could have been Flemish immigrants who fled from Fornham St. Martin to Woolpit.
Oh, okay.
So they could have been English. Another theory that he had is that they could have been English and had their unique village's dialect. And because nobody ever traveled to other villages, nobody recognized what they were saying.
Sure.
They also could have traveled through the mines through the Thetford Forest to escape persecution from King Henry II.
Oh.
That would explain why they spoke in a different language, and the sun could have been blocked by all the tall trees in the forest, so maybe they're just used to living in the shade and kind of in the dark.
Yeah.
So the town is now called Fornham All Saints, but at the time it was called Fornham St. Martin.
Oh.
So when they said they were from St. Martin's land, maybe they meant Fornham St. Martin and were just too little or didn't know the language well enough that they couldn't explain themselves.
Well, it makes sense too that it was like 1100s, 1200s.
Yeah.
And that they were like, oh, we don't recognize this language, but it's not like they had Google or like knew foreign languages necessarily in a small village. So that's interesting.
So chances are that either they were Flemish and so nobody knew the Flemish language, or that they came from a small English town and nobody recognized the dialect, that they could have been trying to run from persecution from King Henry II, and they were hiding through the mines and hiding through the forest.
Poor little children.
And so maybe when people said, where are you from? They said St. Martin, thinking, oh, Fornham St. Martin, but they didn't remember that last part.
Makes sense.
And the church nearby where they would have been running around and hiding has bells that would have been heard.
Oh, shit. Sorry, Gio had to sneeze. Bless you.
Okay. Also, right next to the Thetford Forest that they would have been running through is Lark River that runs through St. Martin and has an area nearby that has several underground passageways that used to be old mines. So people think, okay, they were running around through the mines and they saw a river and then they crossed it to get to hear the bells. And
oh, how creepy.
And they had a weird language because they never left that part of the town before.
Do you think like the green skin was just kind of like it became exaggerated as people told the story, maybe?
Well, the green skin could have been two different things,
okay,
according to what Harris has to say.
Sure.
So it could have been chlorosis, like I said, which is a form of anemia.
Oh.
Caused by a lack of nutrition, and it reduces the delivery of healthy red blood cells to tissues, which gives your skin a green tint.
Oh, shit. Okay, so don't email me about how I said it was about chlorophyll, please.
Well, I thought like plants are green and the skin could be green.
I'm learning.
But so it could be chlorosis, so it could just be from anemia.
Interesting.
Which also, the green skin was actually common at the time for ill-fed, overworked girls before iron supplements came out.
Oh, so anemia, like same thing.
So it could be from chlorosis, or the green skin could have come from, because the kids were found by themselves, they could have been abandoned by their parents, or their parents could have been more abusive than that and fed them arsenic and left them for dead in the woods.
Oh,
because apparently it was quite a common practice back then for parents to kill off their children to collect inheritance on them because they were trying to run from persecution and needed money. And they didn't want to have to carry the children.
Dude, how fucked up is that?
So it could have been that their parents tried to feed them arsenic, which was used in green dyes and gave the skin a green rash.
No. And it would make sense why hers went away after time.
Yeah. Yep. And their, like I said, their unknown language could have just been from a distant town. And it could have also further been an even harder language to understand because they would have, because of the effects of the arsenic poisoning. They could have been like really loopy and not making any sense on top of having a weird dialect.
Wow.
But that's disputed because people say the arsenic poisoning, since it causes so many side effects like green rashes and vomiting and signs of illness, at a time where medieval people were so superstitious, nobody would have taken in those children.
Sure. Okay. Fair point.
But there could also just be like a really nice person.
The noble knight.
The noble knight who just brings them in.
Yeah.
So basically the green skin could have been from being poisoned from arsenic or being abandoned and having chlorosis.
Holy crap.
So this story has inspired several books, including The Green Child in 1934, Strange Destinies in 1965, and The Green Girl... or The Girl Green as Elderflower in 1980. The girl is green as elderflower. Also, Woolpit is still a place, and they have a church there where various relics are there to talk about the history of the Green Children, including their nearby welcome sign into the town, their banner, and a scroll inside the church. All talk about the story of the Green Children.
Crazy. Well, the crazy thing to me is that 800 years later, this is still discussed and like wondered about. Isn't that 800 years? 1200?
Well, 1100. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I mean, enough time.
It's like 800 years. It just blows my mind that like it's still even a thing. Do you want to hear me speak Flemish?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear me sing Flemish?
Yeah, huh?
Okay, this part's French. Hold on.
Flemish Idol.
This is so embarrassing.
But you asked to do this.
I know, but I might make you delete it. We'll see. Zonderliefde, varme liefde, weiterwinde, samenwind. Zonderliefde, varme liefde, vente zee, de grijze zee.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Wait, let me see.
Zonderliefde, varme liefde, lichte, lichte, donkere lichte, en shortet zand over Merlande, van plet land min Vlaanderland, ai, Marieke, Marieke, je flemme, wait, hold on. Le ciel flamand, couleur de tour, de Bruges et Gand.
Is that French now?
Yeah, it switches back and forth. Pleure avec moi, de Bruges et Gand.
What song is that?
It's I, Marieke, Marieke by Jacques Brel.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know that one.
Jacques Brel is alive and well and living in Paris.
Zonderliefde, varme.
Yeah, warme liefde.
Oh, yeah. Liefde.
It's a great song. It is a great song, though.
I mean, you really nailed it. It sounds great.
I'm going to have all these people being like, that is not how you say French words.
Okay, so
I don't care.
Christine's single is dropping at the end of the year. In Flemish.
In Flemish. Listen, Flemish isn't my first language, so I don't really want to be...
English isn't either, though, so you're probably nailing Flemish compared to English.
De Bruges-Jargon. And then it ends with he's just yelling like, De Bruges-Jargon. And I'm like, why is he...
I think you're going to also be drunkenly screaming that on a street corner
Y'all,
one day.
it's such a good song. Okay, I used to play on the piano. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about something else.
Jesus. Okay, well...
You're welcome. You said Flemish and I couldn't...
Tough act to follow, I guess.
I couldn't get it out of my head. Tough act for me to follow my own fucking terrible singing with the story.
All right, let's hear it.
So you guys have heard us talk about Lola, and I personally am a huge fan. Lola is a female-founded company offering a line of organic cotton tampons, pads, liners, and all-natural cleansing wipes. They're actually known for their line of period products made with organic cotton, and they now also offer sex products made with women in mind and specifically formulated to help maintain vaginal pH.
I learned about pH one time in a science class.
Yeah, acid.
Yeah.
Acidity.
Yep.
English isn't my first language.
Also, I'm here, guys. Hello.
Oh, M's here too. I'm woman-splaining about vaginal
Woman-splain to me all about
pH.
vaginal pH, please.
So the Sex by Lola line is a line of women-focused sex products formulated to deliver the sensation and reliability that you deserve without unnecessary irritating additives. So, for example, they have condoms that are ultra-thin, lubricated, made out of natural rubber latex, and they're individually tested for contraception and STI protection. Their ultra-thin design and premium medical-grade silicone oil lubricant ensures safety without sacrificing sensation. So some of the key product attributes, they're ultra-thin, they're lubricated, they're low odor, and they're vegan. Hey. They also protect against STIs in pregnancy. They're also made without parabens, nitrosamines, casein, gluten, GMOs, glycerin, synthetic colorant, synthetic flavor, or fragrance. I mean.
Ooh,
Indeed.
Ah.
Ha. They also offer a personal lubricant that features a mess-free one-click pump system. It's water-based, it's hypoallergenic, and it's made with 95% organic ingredients to create a long-lasting lubricant that perfectly mimics natural feminine moisture and maintains a healthy pH balance. You know what I said about balance.
I love a good balance.
The lubricant is made without parabens, petrochemicals, glycerin, synthetic flavor, or fragrance. All that being said, Lola also makes your month a little bit easier. They have a subscription that's fully customizable, so you can also choose your mix of products, absorbency, number of boxes, and frequency of delivery. Their subscription is super flexible, so you can change, skip, or cancel your subscription at any time. And you can pick your products. As far as period products, they have cotton tampons that are available with a BPA-free plastic applicator or an environmentally non-applicator format. They have pads, liners, or you can do a box of each. Lola's great. It's delivered in a discreet box right to your door. You don't have to worry. You don't have to go to the store, buy the things that you need. They appear on your doorstep. It arrived at my door. I didn't even know. I was like, what is this cute box? And then you open it, and there's all sorts of fun goodies prepared for you in mind. And honestly, I do like the part about eco-friendly. I've been trying to use a lot less plastic, and so it's nice they have the non-applicator tampons. I'm a big fan, so I want you guys to try it out. For 40% off all subscriptions, visit mylola.com and enter promo code DRINK40 when you subscribe. That's mylola.com. Enter DRINK40 when you subscribe. Check it out, guys.
Guys, Christine's going to get so drunk at our bachelorette party. I'm going to encourage it heavily.
You're a bad influence.
No, I'm a great influence. It's
You're
your
good.
bachelorette
You are.
party.
Yes.
So one of the things that I'm going to make sure Christine has the next day during her lovely hangover
Lovely.
is something to get her back to the basics. And with that, I'm going to provide her some liquid IV.
We actually have to bring, I'm going to bring a carry-on bag of just liquid IV.
I already handled it.
What? Are you serious? Em's face is like, don't even bother. I got it.
It's fine. Liquid IV is for the health-conscious everyday athletes, the professional and adventurer travelers, and the social butterflies, which we will all be in Vegas.
We're going to have a good time.
It's a good time.
If you don't know what Liquid IV is, you are missing out. Liquid IV is a non-GMO electrolyte drink mix. It's vegan, free of gluten, dairy, and soy, and it can provide the same hydration, get this, as drinking 2 to 3 bottles of water without drinking them.
I know.
It's amazing.
It delivers hydration to the bloodstream faster and more efficiently than water alone, and it contains 5 essential vitamins, including more vitamin C than an orange and as much potassium as a banana.
The best part, in my opinion, is they donate 1 serving to people in need for every order that's placed, which I think is just really cool.
So you guys are going to love it. Everyone in Vegas is going to love it. Come the next day.
We're going to have to bring bulk for everyone there.
We love Liquid IV so much. We know you will too. So right now, our listeners are getting 20% off of liquidiv.com. That's liquid-iv.com when you use my code DRINK at checkout.
It's also my code.
It's mine today. That's 20% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website.
Go to liquid-iv.com, enter my promo code DRINK, and get your savings and start getting better hydration.
That's my turn. That's liquid-iv.com, promo code DRINK.
Don't wait.
Get hydrated today.
All right, so I got a wild one for you today.
Okay.
Like
bananas?
Like a bananas one.
Okay.
This is the story of Jennifer Pan.
I don't know her.
Okay, so this has been covered on a few podcasts. I heard it on Case File a long time ago, and it blew my mind. My Favorite Murder did an episode, and also blew my mind. And then today, I went and full dive researched it, even more blew my mind. So I feel like I hope I at least did.
You'll at least blow my mind one time.
I hope so. And it's hard because sometimes I do stories that have been covered by big podcasts, and I'm I hope I do it justice. But I really did my own research, so I'm hoping I at least have a take that's different. So I do want to credit both of those though for piquing my interest and giving me some information. The Case File episode is 2 hours long, and he does. Oh, and it include. Okay, I'll tell you more as we go. But it was incredible. Oh, and I got a lot of this information also from an article in Toronto Life magazine or newspaper, I think, which was written by a woman named Karen K. Ho, who was friends with Jennifer Pan in high school. So she did a huge expose.
Oh, cool.
Having known her in high school. So that was where a lot of this information came from. Okay, I'm just going to dive right in. Ready?
I would hope you do.
It's the evening of November 8th, 2010.
Scorpio season.
Oh, no. 3 days after Gio's birthday. He was just a twinkle in my eye.
Oh, and mine too.
Before we ever knew each other, we both had a Gio twinkle in our eye.
Oh, sweet baby boy.
And drink some wine. Hold on.
It's the baby baby.
I forgot he was in here.
I know, he's being so sweet.
So, November 8th, 2010. 27-year-old Jennifer Pan is watching Gossip Girl.
Naturally.
Me too. And John and Kate plus 8.
Okay, me too.
More like him.
Yeah.
In her childhood bedroom, and her mother, Bick, had just gotten home from line dancing class, and her father, Han, had just gone to bed when she hears a noise from downstairs. 3 men had just stormed into the house with guns. One of the men grabbed Jennifer, tied her to the banister with shoelaces, and demanded money. She told him where to find $2,500 that she had saved up and stashed in her room. Meanwhile, the other 2 men ordered her parents, Han and Bick, downstairs. So they woke up Han with a gun to his face and said, come with us. The other one grabbed Bick, her mother, brought them downstairs into the basement, the entire time demanding money. The intruders were screaming, yelling at them, and then telling them to shut up and stop talking. Then one of them shot Han twice.
Oh, no.
Once in the shoulder and then right in the face through his eye.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Bick saw this, her husband being shot, started screaming, so they shot her 3 times in the head, killing her instantly. So at this point, Jennifer is still tied to the banister upstairs. She has managed to get her phone out from her pocket and called 911. And on the Case File episode, literally the first thing you hear is the 911 call.
Oh my God.
And it is chilling, and it is crazy. It is... I highly recommend that episode for a really in-depth look at this, but it is chilling. So she calls 911. You hear the phone call. So she's screaming, "Help! I heard bangs. I'm tied up. I don't know where my parents are. I'm hearing banging. I don't know what it is. It's gunshots." Then about 34 seconds in, you can hear a groaning noise, and it's her father, and he's woken up.
Oh no!
Yeah, after being shot in the eye and in the shoulder, sees his wife dead, has dragged his body upstairs from the basement, and has managed to leave the house. So you can hear this on the call. You can hear him groaning and dragging himself outside. Open the door, go outside. He starts screaming wildly. He sees his neighbor in his driveway. The neighbor obviously calls 911 immediately. Paramedics arrive. They took Han and Jennifer to the hospital. Unfortunately, Bick had been killed instantly on being shot.
Oh my God.
Han was severely injured. The bullet had grazed his carotid artery, so it had just barely missed his carotid artery. It had shattered a bone near his eye, lodged bullet fragments in his face, and had shattered a bone in his neck. So he was put into a medically induced coma, and they didn't know if he would make it. So they brought Jennifer in too, and around 3 a.m., police interviewed her. By the way, that's also on the case file episode. It is.
Oh my God.
It is crazy. Police interviewed Jennifer around 3 a.m. the night of the attack. She explained what had happened and was sent home. 2 days later, she was brought back for more questioning and was asked to explain the scene. So it's an interesting tactic that they do where they ask you to explain what happened. Then they ask you to come back and explain what happened as if you were looking at it from the ceiling. Like it's like a
right. It's like an aerial view.
Yeah, it's like a questioning tactic.
Like a third person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you look at it from a different way, so you might see things that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. And also it helps police kind of like match up your story from first person to like your story from third person.
Right.
So it's like a kind of an interesting technique. So they asked her to do it from that third party view. And then she was also asked to show how she had contorted her body to get her phone out of her waistband while she was tied to the banister. Mm-hmm. So they were kind of just asking her like details of what had happened that day. And here's the thing. Police were starting to get slightly suspicious of Jennifer's story.
What?
So there were some holes that they couldn't quite explain. For one thing, the keys to Jennifer's father's Lexus were in plain view by the front door. The car could easily have been stolen if this was a simple home invasion. Additionally, they hadn't come prepared with any bags to stuff items in. They hadn't brought zip ties or anything to restrain the victims, explaining the shoelaces.
Right.
And above all else, why would they kill 2 witnesses and leave the third upstairs unharmed? So obviously Jennifer was extremely rattled by this attack. She was compliant with police, giving them everything they needed to know. That is, until they asked if they could look through her recent phone records.
Oh, no.
At this, she suddenly had a lot of questions. She asked, what would they be looking for? What could they possibly access? How long back would they need to search? How much would they find out? And by November 22nd, during Jennifer's third interview, police realized Jennifer was not telling them the whole truth. And when they began to dig into her past, they learned why.
Oh,
dun, dun,
okay.
dun. That's my dramatic writing I used there.
Right, yeah. God, you're such a professional writer.
And then I drew a big line.
Yeah, I see it. What was that for?
That's like, they learned why, ... And then
it's like Act 1 is over.
Act 1 is over. Now we're going, Jennifer Pan was born in 1986 to Vietnamese.
Also, now we're doing the, hey, I'm Jennifer Pan. You're probably wondering how I got myself here. And then like,
yes,
the reversal sound.
Rewind.
To like some like punk 90s. Rewind. I'm just a kid. And something like that.
Don't get that up in my head. Then I'm going to be all distracted. But
okay.
Yes, exactly that.
Okay.
Like, you're probably wondering how I ended
I mean,
up
that would be
here.
the music that played when you're reversing through my life back to middle school.
Fucking 1,000%.
Yeah.
So, rewind. We're back in 1986. So Jennifer Pan. So they were like, something's going on here, and they start digging into her past, basically.
Uh-huh.
And this is kind of what they find out. Jennifer Pan was born in 1986 to Vietnamese-born immigrants who had moved to Toronto, Canada as refugees in 1979.
Don't do that to Canada.
By the way, this is also a Canadian story. Her parents, Bic Ha and Hui Han Pan, you know, I can't...
The good Canadians in this story.
Tried. Yeah, Bic Ha and Hui Han Pan.
Okay.
Worked hard to give their children opportunities that they themselves didn't have. Again, they're Geez, sorry. Again,
your microphone farted.
Excuse me. They're immigrants. They're refugees. They just wanted to build a better life for their kids, basically. So after years of hard work and being thrifty, they were able to buy a large house with a 2-car garage in an area called Markham, which had a large Asian population. So that they were among friends and family and people who had
same culture.
Same culture, exactly. Had similar backgrounds. And they were basically making it in Canada, and they were like,
well, that's what everyone does in Canada, I imagine.
Making it.
I mean, that's what the second I move to Canada, I'm going to be making it.
And until then, no,
never.
But the second you hit it. So basically, what they wanted, as a lot of parents do, they wanted to do the best for their kids, and this, unfortunately, came with somewhat of a caveat. So they set extremely high standards for their kids. There was a lot of pressure. They expected them to excel at every turn. Jennifer was the oldest child. She had a brother named Felix who was 3 years younger than her. And Jennifer started taking piano and figure skating when she was 4 years old. She would train almost every day of the week in addition to her schoolwork. So sometimes in elementary school, like as a small child, she would get home at 10 p.m. from figure skating and have to do all her homework for the next morning.
Jeez.
So it was just a lot.
I wouldn't come home from figure skating and just do my homework starting at 10 because I was just a horrible student.
Oh no, but like they were forcing this. They were like, this is your
Like pressing
your
her.
life. Yeah, they were like, you're going to be training to be basically an Olympic athlete. And
my mom knew there was no chance for me.
Oh, me too. Me too. Exactly. But that's what's kind of scary about this is that, well, you'll see. So she's doing piano, figure skating classes. She trained every day of the week. She would literally get home at 10 p.m. from training and then have to do her homework for the next day. She was hoping to become an Olympic figure skating champion. At least that's what her parents wanted for her. And then, unfortunately, she tore a ligament in her knee, so those dreams were dashed. So she started playing flute in the school band. And according to her high school friend, Karen K. Ho, who I mentioned, who later wrote this big expose on this whole story. According to Karen Ho, Jennifer's dad, Han, was seen as, quote, the classic tiger dad. And Bick was his, quote, reluctant accomplice. So basically, they monitored Jennifer's extracurriculars extremely carefully. They forbade her from dating, attending school dances, prom, friends' parties, hanging out anywhere outside of school unless it was for an extracurricular, for fear that it would distract her from her academic commitments. So when she graduated 8th grade and wasn't valedictorian and received no awards, nothing, and it was
rocked her world.
Yeah, it rocked her world. It was unacceptable in her family. It was one of those things where her family was like, well, this is not who you are. And she just felt like she couldn't live up to what was expected of her. So unfortunately, she started self-harming as a young girl because she felt so out of place and like she couldn't live up to what her family wanted, which is just really heartbreaking. She was like 13 and she was already hurting herself. So in high school, halfway through her freshman year of high school, she was getting like straight C's. And this was, again, not acceptable in her family. So what she did was she would forge her report cards. She basically found a way to like old school way of getting like the paper and then like white out and like copy paste and the whole 9 yards of like just fooling your parents into thinking you're getting A's, which I feel like is funny looking back with some families. Like with my mom, I'm like, oh yeah, I like lied to you about like this assignment, you know, like I bullshitted stuff. But with this, it was very much like it was a survival thing. Like she needed to prove to her parents she was getting A's. So it's a little bit darker. And so she was convincing her parents this whole time that she was fine. She was getting A's. Her, you know, band practice was going great. So high school goes by. Her senior year of high school, she's set to go to Ryerson University. And she had actually received early admission. And her parents were like fine with it. They wanted her to go to University of Toronto to study pharmacology.
Okay.
But she got early admission to Ryerson, and they were like, I guess we'll take it. So they weren't thrilled, but they were fine with it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, senior year, Jennifer failed calculus. So her early admission was rescinded.
Oh, boy.
And she couldn't bear to tell her parents, so she didn't tell them, nor did she tell anyone.
Oh, so she just left to go to campus and then just never actually went into the building?
She just went to college without going to college. So, as though nothing was wrong, she basically told her parents, I'm starting school. And when the school year began, she would go to her, quote, college classes, but instead she'd go sit in cafes, teach piano to kids to make some money, and work as a server in a restaurant. She told her parents she'd received scholarships so they didn't have to worry about the financial aspect of it all. She didn't just say I got scholarships. She forged documents saying that she got financial aid and scholarships from the country or from the state, and then that she got scholarships from the university itself. And instead of leaving it that, Jennifer just kind of piled on to the lies. Like it almost like escalated just because she was so far in that she couldn't stop it. Basically.
Right.
So like I said, her father had always dreamed that she'd go to pharmacology at the University of Toronto. So 2 years into her, quote, college career, that this entire time she's not going to college at all, her dad one day goes, so whatever happened to like this plan? Oh, she had told her dad, I'm going to Ryerson for 2 years because she wanted to please them. So she said, when she was originally admitted to Ryerson, she's like, I'm only going for 2 years and then I'm going to transfer to University of Toronto to do pharmacology like you want. So 2 years into not actually being at Ryerson, her father asks, you know, how's it going? What's the deal with, like, are you going to go transfer? And she says, oh, yes, I've been accepted into University of Toronto's pharmacology program. And they were thrilled. And
Wow.
yeah, she went as far as to purchase textbooks. She literally took notebooks, watched videos and read books in the library, filled out notebooks of notes about pharmacology just so she could go home and say, oh yeah, these are my notes for today.
Crazy.
Like she went that far. Like she literally filled out notebook after
Spiraled.
notebook. Yeah. Spiral notebook. Duh.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah, she like took it really far. Like this lie was like consuming her basically. And because she was so, quote, busy at school, Jennifer requested permission from her parents to move closer to campus and live with a friend she had named Topaz.
Okay.
So this friend happened to be, oh, I miswrote this, sorry.
The name is not Topaz, it's Opal.
Wrong gemstone, god damn it. No, sorry. So this friend named Topaz was actually a friend of hers, but she wasn't actually moving in to live with Topaz. She was moving in to live with her secret boyfriend.
Named Topaz?
Daniel Wong.
Daniel Wong. Got it.
Topaz was a real friend of hers.
Got it.
She said, I'm moving in with Topaz.
Got it.
But in reality, she was moving in with her
not.
boyfriend. So her boyfriend's name was Daniel Wong, and I'm going to tell you how they met.
Okay.
Sit back for the epic love story that is about to begin.
I'm ready.
Let me shuffle my butt. Okay. Butt is shuffled. So this is how they met. He played trumpet in the school band. Remember, she played flute in high school. Their relationship was platonic until a band trip to Europe in 2003. And after a performance in a concert hall filled with smokers, Jennifer suffered a bad asthma attack and she like couldn't breathe. And Daniel came to her rescue.
Noble knight.
Took her outside. Another night in these stories, yes. Took her outside, helped her breathe. And basically she later said, he pretty much saved my life. It meant everything. So that summer they started dating. So this was in high school. Now she's several years into like fake college.
Right.
You know how it is.
And Daniel's still with her knowing that she has been going to college this whole time?
Yep.
Okay.
But he's also known her family since
he gets it.
Because when she describes it in the Case File podcast episode, like she describes, you can hear her talking to the investigator and he's asking her about her relationship with Daniel. And she's like, yeah, my parents wouldn't allow me to have a boyfriend when I was like 18. And we had to like skirt the rules constantly. Like we were always.
Right.
So they were used to basically like lying to her parents and stuff. So she explained basically like, I mean, he knew, he's like, your dad would kill you if he knew what was going on. So he just was kind of on board. So years go by and Jennifer is still pretending she's in college for pharmacology. And by the time, there's only a problem because by the time her graduation rolls around, she's got to graduate.
Right.
And so this is what happened. She and Daniel decide to hire someone online to create a fake transcript to show to her parents to prove that she graduated. So they hire on like Craigslist or whatever, someone to create this like transcript that has all A's on it. And when her parents were like, we want to go to your graduation ceremony, she made up a lie that every student only got one ticket. And she didn't think her parents would want to go without the other parent. So she gave it away to a friend because she didn't want one of her parents to feel left out. So it's just getting a little like
shady all of a sudden.
What do you mean you get one ticket at University of Toronto to go to the, like, it just doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So
hold on. Please hold for the ambulance that decided to fly through our story.
Oh my God, the ambulance ambience. The ambient ambulance. The ambient ambulance.
The ambient ambulance.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's loud. The ambient ambulance.
The ambient ambulance.
So, like I said, things started to unravel here, and her parents started to get a little bit like, hold on, you're really like not behaving normally. So basically after she quote unquote graduated, Jennifer told her parents that she had started volunteering at a prestigious hospital for sick children called Sick Kids in Toronto. And her parents soon realized something was off because she didn't have a badge, she didn't have a uniform, and yet she was going every day to this like job she had. and was just acting really fishy about it. So one day, Bick and Han insisted on dropping Jennifer off at work. So they drop her off and she enters the hospital, and then Han, her father, tells Bick, follow her. So Bick gets out of the car, follows Jennifer into the hospital, and Jennifer realizes her mother's tailing her. So she hides in the waiting room. Like, she hides out for hours until they leave. And the next morning, they called Jennifer's friend Topaz to be like, is she living with you? Because we have doubts about this. Mm-hmm. And Topaz apparently was like, no, she doesn't. She's never lived with me.
That's not a real friend.
She didn't even know. She was just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, no.
So no. Have you ever seen that meme? Not the meme, but it's like a screenshot of like a guy decided to text his girlfriend's friends to be like acting like he was the girlfriend. Texted all of her friends saying, was I with you last night? Just to see what they would say to cover for her.
Right.
And they all covered her beautifully. One was like, yeah, you left your jacket in my car. Like, that's the kind of friends I need.
One was like, bitch, you got so drunk on my couch. Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty funny. I was like, that's such a gem of a friend.
I gotta hand it to all my hometown friends. They hands
would,
down,
for sure.
Every single one of them would lie on the spot for me.
I feel like all my friends would just be like,
I 1,000% would lie for you, but I don't think you would lie for me. I think you would want to.
But here's the thing. I think I would go, what the fuck? This isn't M. Like, I'd be like, hold on, what's happening here? Like, I wouldn't lie. I'd be like, no, I'm going to call you out on whatever's happening here. Because I would know 100% if it
feel like if anyone texts me from your phone saying, was I with you last night? I'd be like 1,000%. Like, hands down.
I feel like if someone did that to me, I'd be like, who the fuck is this? Like, don't.
Yeah, but that's not helping me. You're just making it obvious that you.
Yeah, but it's also calling out like you have a fucking abusive, crazy partner. Like, sorry, I don't know. That's my thought. Like, I'm sorry,
I would lie for you.
Thank you. I would lie for you if it were like beneficial, but I feel like if you had a crazy abusive partner who was like fucking harassing me about shit that you were doing, I'd be like, no, I'm going to call you out on it.
I would just lie either way.
All right, well, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
All right.
I would lie for you if it were beneficial for you, for sure.
Right. Yeah, it wouldn't matter to me either way. I would just be like, yeah, you were with me.
Yeah, but if I was like, oh, your partner is texting me crazy shit, I would tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. So Topaz wakes up in the, like, they call her like 6 a.m. They're like, is she there? And she's like, no, what? Like, no, she's not here. They're like, she said she's living with you. And she's like, no, like, I don't really know her very well. Like, she just like made up a lie. And
right.
this girl's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. So then that morning, Han confronts Jennifer and is like, what the fuck is going on? And Jennifer has a complete breakdown and admits everything. She's like, I haven't been in college. I've lied for like the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. I've been just like going to live with my boyfriend, Daniel, who they, by the way, did not approve of.
Got it.
The whole thing. She admits the whole thing was a lie. So obviously, Han, her dad, is completely shocked at this revelation. He wants to throw her out of the house. But her mother, Bick, convinces him, like, just let her stay. Let her be at home. We'll figure it out. So he lets her stay, but they started to get super strict with her. Stricter than usual. So they took her cell phone. They took her laptop. They only permitted her to use them if she was in her parents' presence. So she could only use her phone or laptop if she was around one of her parents.
Weird.
She had to endure surprise checks of her messages. So they would like occasionally just go through her phone to make sure everything was like normal. By the way, she's 24 at this point. So
yeah.
she's a grown adult. They forbade her from seeing Daniel. They ordered her to quit all of her jobs except the piano teaching one. And they began tracking the odometer on her car. So she's 24, like I said. She'd never finished high school. So at this point, she got to work completing her high school degree by finishing that calculus class that she had failed. And at this point, her parents are encouraging her to apply to university for real this time. But they forbid her from leaving the house to go anywhere but her piano teaching job. So they're just like, basically, she's on lockdown, basically. Right. So Jennifer still is madly in love with Daniel. And she's extremely lonely because she's so restricted and is not allowed to speak to him, is not allowed to be with him. And because of this stress on the relationship, Daniel basically tells Jennifer, like, I can't do this. Maybe if this is figured out on your end someday, I can handle it. But right now, like, I'm just not, I can't do it. So he breaks up with her. And Jennifer is obviously heartbroken and actually attempted suicide.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And then she finds out Daniel is seeing a new girl.
Oh, boy.
Named Christine.
Okay.
Oh, boy, boy, boy.
Christine Cheever.
Christine. Christine just has no love in this story. Ready? In an attempt to win back his attention and discredit Christine, Jennifer concocts a bizarre story. She tells Daniel that a man had knocked on her door, had flashed a police badge, and then when she opened the door, a group of men rushed in, overpowered her, and gang raped her in the foyer of her house.
What the fuck?
And then a few days later, she received a bullet in an envelope in her mailbox that she said was from Christine, the new girlfriend.
What?
And then it insinuated that Christine had set up the gang rape and had mailed her the bullet as a threat.
Fuck.
So it worked.
Oh my God.
It worked. Daniel left Christine and went back to Jennifer, even though the whole thing was made up. She made up the whole thing.
God.
She was never gang raped. None of it was real. So he dumps Christine, goes back to Jennifer. And around this time, so they're back together. Around this time, Jennifer reconnects with a friend from elementary school named Andrew Montemayor, who had supposedly boasted about robbing people at knife point in the park near his home.
What?
Which later he denied, but apparently that's what kind of drew Jennifer to him, because she told him about her awful relationship with her parents, and he confessed that he'd once considered killing his own father. So this kind of got into Jennifer's head, and she started to imagine how great it would be to get out from under her dad's thumb and live without him in her life. Mm-hmm. So she starts talking to Daniel, her boyfriend, and they begin to hatch a plan. And together, after a few weeks, the two of them realize that Jennifer's parents have a life insurance policy that would leave her $500,000. But I also want to add here that Daniel so far has just been the nice guy who played trumpet and helped her recover from her asthma attack. But I do want to add that he wasn't all that perfect himself. He'd been expelled from a school. He'd gotten in trouble with the law a few times, once for trafficking a pound of marijuana. And he also had some less than savory friends. Let's put it that way. And
that's why her parents didn't like him?
No, her dad just didn't want her to date anyone because she was like still in high school when they met. And so he was like, you're not allowed to date him. And then I don't think they even knew about him at all, to be honest. It just happened to be that he wasn't the greatest influence. But yeah, they just refused to let her date anyone. And so, of course, the one she latches onto happens to be kind of not the greatest guy.
Got it.
So he had some, like I said, less than savory friends. And one of these friends was a man named Lenford Crawford, otherwise known as Homeboy.
Oh, okay, sure.
Daniel and Jennifer decided they'd have Crawford execute her parents so they could collect the life insurance money and live together without the threat of her parents constantly looming over them. And they asked Crawford what his going rate was, and he said it was usually $20,000, but for a pal like Daniel, he'd make it $10,000.
Oh, wow. Great.
Lenford's a great guy.
What a deal. Half off sale.
BOGO. Buy one, get one.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It's like Payless shoe store. Buy one, get one. Pogo.
Payless, don't sue us. Don't sue us.
Oh, God. Okay. I just said Pogo, like Pogo the Clown. Help me. Okay.
Oh, I thought Pogo Stick.
Oh, I thought Pogo, like John Wayne Gacy.
Whoops.
We're fucked up. Okay. So he's like, I'll make it 10K because you guys are such great friends. So after several weeks of back and forth, and Jennifer got a SIM card for a Samsung flip phone. Like, she had an iPhone, but then she got a Samsung flip phone with a SIM card that she would like take the SIM card out of to like make sure it wasn't on her iPhone.
Right.
Especially because her parents were always like checking her phone to make sure. So after several weeks of back and forth, finally on the morning of November 8th, the group finally all agreed that today was the day. And there was actually a time in between there where Daniel broke up with her and went back to Christine.
Oh boy.
And was like, I'm in love with her and I don't want anything to do with this. And then she goes, okay, well, if you're going to be with her, then let's cancel this whole thing. And he was like, but I thought you wanted this for you. And she was like, but then I have nowhere to go. So I don't want to do it if you're not involved. So apparently there was just like all this sort of drama.
No, you do it. No, you do it.
Like, I only want to do it if you want to do it.
And it's like, where do you want to go get food?
Literally. I want to go to Cheesecake Factory, but only if you want to go to Cheesecake Factory. Exactly.
I want to kill my parents, but only if you do.
Yeah. I want you to be there for me
and then afterwards, if you kill them, I'll pick where we go for dinner afterwards.
Deal? Deal.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair.
Yes.
So basically, it took weeks for them to finally land on a time that it would actually work. So November 8th, finally, they agreed that was the day. That night, the contract killers that Jennifer Pan had hired to kill her parents showed up and shot both of them in cold blood.
That's so fucked up.
The only problem was, so remember how I said like her dad Han was in a induced coma because he had been shot in like grazed the carotid artery and all that good stuff.
Right.
Well, 3 days later, he wakes up from his coma.
Oh my God.
And guess what else?
What?
He remembers everything.
Oh my God.
He says he tells police he saw his daughter chatting softly, quote, like a friend with one of the intruders in the hallway. He says her arms were not tied behind her back while she was being led around the house. So on November 22nd, during her third interview with police, Jennifer breaks down in sobs and begins to admit everything that happened. She explains that while her parents were settling in for the night, she went downstairs, unlocked the front door. She went into the study, switched the light on, which was a signal for the intruders that it was go time, basically. So she switched the light, which meant it was go time. And then they came in and basically followed her instructions of shooting her parents and pretending it was an invasion, a home invasion. And so after her confession, over a period of 4 hours, almost 4 hours, Jennifer spun out this absurd story of what happened. She said first that the attack had been an elaborate plan to commit suicide.
What?
She said she had given up on life, but she couldn't manage to kill herself, so she hired Homeboy, and claimed she didn't know his real name, to do it for her. Then she realized in September that her relationship with her father had improved, so she decided to call off the hit. Mm-hmm. But wires got crossed, so the men came in and did it anyway, even though she didn't want them to. So sort of taking her own blame out of it. Right. Police arrested Jennifer on the spot after that. In the spring of 2011, remember they said they were like, oh, we're going to look at your phone. And she was like, hold up. Right. What are you going to find? So in lieu of looking at her phone and analyzing all her calls and texts, they arrested Daniel and the other 3 men and charged all 5 of them, including Jennifer, with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder.
Wow.
So the trial began. I mean, it was easy enough. It was as easy as going through her phone and literally pulling texts because she had been texting all of them. Like, is today a good day? Is today a good day?
Wow.
Yeah, like really stupid. There was actually a clip in the case file episode where they're like, well, where is the SIM card of this phone, this flip phone? And she's like, I don't know where I put it. And they're like, where did you put it? And she's like, in a pocket. And they're like, what pocket? And she's like, a jacket? I don't know. And it's like, they're going to find it. Like,
oh my gosh.
She just like couldn't, she knew she was fucked, basically.
Yeah.
It's pretty trippy to hear someone like knowing they're fucking screwed, like in the
I can't imagine what that sounds like.
Shiver inducing. So the trial began on March 19th, 2014 in Newmarket, and they thought it would last about 6 months, ended up lasting 10 months. Jennifer, for the charge of first-degree murder, ended up receiving an automatic life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. For the attempted murder of her father, she received another sentence of life. Daniel and the other 2 men each received the same sentence, so life, no chance of parole for 25 years. Han and Felix both wrote, so Han was her father, Felix was her little brother.
Right.
They both wrote victim impact statements, which are just heartbreaking. Her father basically this is what he said in his statement. Quote, "When I lost my wife, I lost my daughter at the same time. I don't feel like I have a family anymore. Some say I should feel lucky to be alive, but I feel like I am dead too."
That's so sad.
It's really sad. He's actually now unable to work due to his injuries. He suffers anxiety attacks, insomnia, and when he can sleep, obviously nightmares. He's constantly in pain. He's given up his hobbies, including gardening, working on cars, listening to music, because he says they bring him no more joy.
Oh my God.
He can't bear to be in his own house anymore, so he lives with relatives. And Felix, her younger brother, moved to the East Coast to find work and escape the stigma of being a member of the Pan family, because he just couldn't handle being a part of all of it. He also suffers from depression. He's become closed off. This is also all from Karen Ho's article, because she knows the family and she knows the
right.
town. And so she wrote this whole thing about the entire timeline. Han, her father, is desperate to sell their house, their family house, but no one will buy it after all these years. And so at the end of the statement that he made in court, the victim impact statement, Han addressed Jennifer, his daughter, and he said, "I hope my daughter Jennifer thinks about what has happened to her family and can become a good, honest person someday."
Jesus.
And that is the story of Jennifer Pan, and she is now in jail for life.
How old is she now?
She was born in
86?
I think 87.
87. Okay, so she's 4 years older than you.
Yeah.
30?
Yeah.
Oh, 31.
31. She's literally 31. She's in prison for the rest of her life. Isn't that horrifying?
I wonder if she feels guilty.
So apparently when the jury announced the verdict, she didn't react. But the second the press left, she had like a full-on breakdown. Like she held herself together in front of cameras. And then the second they left, she just had like a full-on breakdown.
Holy shit.
And I guess there was even an article, I think it was Washington Post, that was like, Jennifer Pan has like emotional It's just funny because you see articles that are like, so-and-so expresses no emotion at trial, or they do express emotion. Like there's literal articles about like murderers and how they react to.
Yeah.
But so apparently apparently when her mother was killed, when her mother was shot, her mother was like, "Just don't hurt my daughter. Just don't hurt my daughter."
Oh my God.
And so I guess when they talked about that, she had a full on like heartbreaking meltdown. And her mother was the one who was always on her side. And like, she was like deferent to her father, but was also,
that's such a tragedy.
It's really sad. And so she apparently was very emotionally affected by that.
Right.
But like she planned for months. And so then there's that big argument of like, well, you know, are her parents at fault for like basically emotionally abusing her for so long? Like it's just such a mess. It's just such a mess. But I mean, she literally had her parents murdered in cold blood and planned it, you know? And then lied about it. Like it's not good. Like she done fucked up big time. Sorry, that's my wine.
I mean, she definitely I would think they maybe deserved a lot, but they didn't deserve to get brutally murdered in cold blood.
No, exactly. And it's just so heartbreaking that the father survived and now has to live like just such a
sad life,
heartbreaking, joyless life without his kids and his wife and his home. I mean,
they deserved like a good talking to from a shrink, and like
they're
they needed a conversation about like
Agreed.
The effects they were causing on their child, but I don't think anyone was like, "Oh, you're causing them to want to kill you."
There are better ways to go about it. And again, it's like, and then it gets to the point of like, well, how, if she was raised that way since she was a child, like, does she know any better? So it's one of those very controversial ones, but it's either way, it didn't end well, and it's extremely heartbreaking.
Jeez.
So yeah.
Good way to end this.
Well, no, I'm not going to end it like that.
Is there a Gio-scope?
Of course there is. There always is.
Gio, there's a little Gio-scope.
I got it. Ready?
Gio, listen up.
Look at that face.
Are you so excited? Oh, man.
Look at that sweet little face. It's so
Is this going to be so fun?
Bitty. All right, this is your Scorpio scope. Somebody earlier said it should be a Gio-scope, and I thought that was quite eloquent.
This is just like a raging helicopter night, huh?
Sometimes there's like car chases or like holdups at like gas stations, and so helicopters just love to just hang out here. Yeah, there's like a 7-Eleven that's been like held up like 3 times.
Is it the one on the way back to my house? Like next to the highway?
No, it's like it's like a 2-minute. It's like right here.
Oh, the one that we went to for your...
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, good place to take money from.
Oh, I go there all the time.
Oh my God.
Okay. This is
Anyway, Gio.
Gio-scope.
Okay.
Gio-scope. I don't know.
Scorpio.
Someone threw that out.
Oh, like Scorpio.
Someone threw that on Facebook.
Gio-scope.
Gio-scope.
Scorpio horoscope.
Listen, I just tried to go with it. Beachbody On Demand is an easy-to-use streaming service that gives you instant access to a wide variety of super effective workouts you can do from the comfort of your living room 24/7.
This is the company behind P90X, Insanity, 21 Day Fix, T25, Brazil Butt Lift, Pio, Hip Hop Abs, 3-week yoga retreat, and more.
You can get motivated by celebrity super trainers that you already know, like Shaun T, Shailene Johnson, Tony Horton, and Autumn Calabrese.
There's hundreds of effective workouts for all fitness levels, so I would be at the beginning. Ranging from bodybuilding to weight training to cardio hit to yoga and even dance workouts.
The yoga and dance are my personal faves because they're fun. They're not just about working out. They're like actually, they're fun.
I like bodybuilding. I like to blast my pecs.
You gotta bulk it up. You gotta lift heavy. So you can work out. The best part is you can work out on your schedule. So the workouts are as short as 10 minutes and they don't require extra equipment. So that's basically the time it takes you to drive and park at the gym. And in that time, you could already have finished your workout, which is just amazing.
Dreams come true.
Yes.
You can join over 1 million people currently on Beachbody On Demand right now. And the listeners of And That's Why We Drink can try it absolutely free.
Free. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Blaze swears by Insanity. I personally did T25 and it was so intense that I kind of had to take a step back and do the yoga retreat, which I also really like too. So maybe I'll get back to T25 someday.
Right now, our listeners can get a special free trial membership when you text DRINK to 303030. That's DRINK to 303030. You'll get full access to this entire platform for free. All the workouts, the nutrition information, and support totally free.
Again, just text DRINK to 303030. Ready?
Gio.
Scorpio.
That's you.
Oh, stop complaining. We're all entitled to our place in the spotlight every now and then. It's now officially your turn.
Well, yeah. Gio, you were number 1 on the listicle today.
It's now officially his turn. Not that it hasn't been his fucking turn.
It's been his turn for almost 3 years now.
Since day 1 of his life.
Oh, baby.
He's already asleep. All right.
He literally fell asleep. He was wide awake at the beginning of that.
And now we're reading his thing.
And a sentence later, he's unconscious.
Well, of course he falls asleep as we compliment him.
He's like, I know.
It's now officially your turn. If you really must have some privacy, possibly due to the attention of a certain someone. M. Oh my God. This is made for you. Possibly due to the attention of a certain someone. Parentheses. Attention you'd rather not share with the masses.
He perked up. Look at him. He's so happy.
With the masses.
The masses.
Did someone go onto fucking astrology.com and write an actual Gio-scope for us?
Gio, this is you and me all the way.
Possibly due to the attention of a certain someone. Attention you'd rather not share with the masses. Well, isn't there some kind of excuse you can make up to explain your untimely exit? Wow, that's rude.
It's abrasive, Gio.
Sure there is. Don't you have to feed the cat? Whoa, this is
God.
trippy.
This is so
Who
meta.
wrote this?
What is going on?
Don't you have to feed the cat? That is wild.
Maybe. Gio, do we have to go feed your baby brother?
No, because he eats all of Juniper's food.
Oh, maybe he eats it so I'll have the excuse.
Oh my God. Don't you have to go,
It all
quote
makes
unquote,
sense.
feed the cat, wink, wink.
Since I ate all the food, wink, wink.
Hold on. That is weird. That was a weird one.
I like how you weren't involved at all.
I mean, I kind of like it. I'm like, I just sit in the background. You guys have your dramatic moments.
Gio, that was so nice. That was so special. I think Christine hates when I do that.
No, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Every time I see Gio, I'm going, well, is that so nice? Is that so special?
Apparently, Blaze started our episode the other day, the last one where he was told he couldn't waltz or whatever. He played it on the Alexa, and I guess I was at work, and he said, oh no, I've done a bad thing. And he said, like, Alexa, play And That's Why We Drink podcast. And it starts with you going, oh, that's so nice. And I guess Gio, like, flipped the fuck out.
Aww.
Looked in every room of the house for you. Like,
baby.
couldn't find you. Was, like, so worked up. And Blaze is like, I really messed up by playing this on the speakers. And I'm like, I mean, come on, Blaze.
Such a stinky babe.
So I felt terrible. He was at home looking for us all day, but
That's heartbreaking.
yeah.
I realized today at work that I was going to get to see my little baby today, and I was so excited.
He loves you.
We always have a big old hug when we see each other, and then we go outside. We have so many fun toys.
Oh. He always knows when you're here before I do. Like, he just has this, like, stance where he's like, I'm ready.
It's like, I don't know why, but I am ready.
He's like, I can't even sit
I think
still.
he's recognized the sound of my car when I lock it.
That must be it, because I swear to God, it's before I ever even see you that he knows you're here.
Oh,
Right, Gio?
is that so nice? Baby, look at that smile.
Are you hot?
He's like, God, yeah, I am.
He's like, why you lock me in this room?
Gio, you can be in our Facebook Live video and we can go swimming together. That'd be so fun. Okay.
He's like, kill me. Okay. If you want to follow him, I've recently reactivated his Instagram account.
At Gio_takes_LA.
That is correct. And
Gio.
it's actually really fun because I can just post pictures of Gio all day without feeling like weird about just posting pictures of my dog. Tell the people the story.
You can find us at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, where you can donate. Please donate.
You can
Did I say
donut.
Freudian slip.
You can send us donuts.
You can donut and wonton. And at ATWWD Podcast, you can also find our website, and that's why we drink.com. You can also find our merch at and that's why we drink.bigcartel.com.
We got some new stuff there.
You can also find our email, and that's why we drink at gmail.com, where you can send in your personal true crime and paranormal stories. We put out new listeners episodes at the first of every month. You can also mail us goodies and see us open them in our monthly fan mail videos.
We got to get some stuff from the post office because we're
We
doing
do.
it this Sunday.
We got it. Oh man, I always forget. Nope, I gotta do it. 1920 Hillhurst Avenue,
Correct.
number 265.
Yes.
Los Angeles, California, 90027.
Oh man, baby, you got it.
You can also find us on our personals at the M Schultz and at xteen Schiefer and at Gio_takes_LA.
And at ATWW podcast. I know you've said that already. Never mind.
And you can also go follow Eva. She deserves it.
Yeah. What's her handle? Eva Gross.
EW Gross. Ew Gross.
Oh fuck!
Her Twitter is at Ew Gross.
It's pretty funny. EW.
Okay, Ew Gross with 3 S's.
That's such a clever name, though.
Love it. I think that's it. Also, please come see us for our live shows. We have our next ones are August 3rd and August 4th in Nashville at Zany's.
And we're sold out of VIP tickets, but we do have a limited number of general admission. So please come see us. We're so pumped for our Nashville shows. There's 2 of them in a row. So, and by the way, a lot of people have asked, we do different story for each show. So don't feel like if you saw us once, you're going to see the same thing. We do a different story for each show.
Also, we have another live show at the Hollywood Improv September 23rd, which is a Sunday, guys.
Yes.
So please start buying tickets for that.
And that one has VIP tickets available. So
yes,
if you want to
and
come
we're going to start selling merch, guys, too. So
at the shows.
At the shows.
If you want to meet us, buy a VIP ticket so we can hang out. Those are still available.
And also, do we still have tickets available for DC?
Yes.
On November 5th.
Only one of them. One sold out, but November...
Wait a minute, only one ticket. Everyone, fight to the death!
No, you're right. November 5th is still available.
November 6th is not.
But running low.
Yes.
They just released a low ticket warning for November 5th. So get on it, baby!
And
that's
why drink.
Oh.
Facebook Live today.
Oh, right. I'm here. 3 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, bye.
Bye.